Move on to the next team. I picked the Utah Jazz, which I think might be flying under the radar because you got people talking more about the Lakers, the Bulls, even Miami, but the Jazz, you're gonna pull it up right now, man. They've done some pretty solid moves. So you right here you have Utah right there. Additions, you got Rudy G, you got Hassan Whiteside, you got Eric Paschall. They drafted Jared Butler, 40th. I don't know much about him. I don't know what he brings to the table. We go to what they lost, man. They lost Derrick Favors. They lost Georges Niang and Matt Thomas. So if I'm comparing what they added to what they lost, I think they got better. Pascal, I think his rookie year, he averaged like 13 for Golden State. I see some potential there. It's a young guy you just got. I like Rudy G, veteran presence. Rudy G, he's been a scorer throughout his career. I like those dudes that you bring him on the team, and on any given night, if the dude's just heat checking, he could give you 20 off the bench. Really like that acquisition. Obviously, he's past his better years, but Rudy G can still score, man. And then Hassan Whiteside, uh, yeah, man, another big body rebounder, shot blocker, like I guess you could say a poor man's version of Rudy Gobert, which is fitting because that's exactly who he's going to be coming off the bench for. Rudy G. I really like that. I like that they take Rudy G out the game. They could bring in Hassan Whiteside. I really like the Jazz team. They lost Derrick Favors, Niang, Matt Thomas. I don't really know what these guys like when they were in the playoffs. I didn't hear Matt Thomas's name one time. I don't know what the hell he was doing for them. Niang, I know he was a 3-point shooter, but I highly doubt the Jazz are going to be super sad about that because if you look at their roster, which I'm going to get to in a bit, they still have plenty of shooting, bro. Plenty. These dudes got shooters everywhere still. So we look at the depth chart for them. Let me know what you think of this. They got.
Wait, one
I'm,
second.
I'm
Wait,
assuming
wait. Did they this doesn't show who they re-signed, right?
they didn't really have anyone like big that actually wait. They did re-sign Conley. My bad. I forgot to mention that they re-signed Conley.
For how many
Three
years?
3 years, 68 mil.
And how old is he?
I don't know his age. But
Let me see.
he's '07 draft, so 14 years. He's probably the same as Lowry in them. Maybe 34, 35,
33.
33. So he'll be with them
Yeesh.
until 36.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Um, so the depth chart, I'm just gonna run them off, and then I want to know what you think about this. I'm assuming that the starting lineup is gonna be Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich, and Rudy Gobert. Off the bench, Jordan Clarkson, Royce O'Neal, Rudy G, Eric Paschall, and Hassan Whiteside. What do you think about that 10-man rotation?
That's a pretty scary 10-man rotation, man.
Yeah, I really like Clarkson and even like Rudy G, bro. Like I know over the years analytics say, oh, Rudy G, yeah, he puts up points, but his plus minus, his effect on the team, he doesn't really bring like a winning culture. Hey man, if you're bringing him off the bench, I'm cool with it, bro. I'm cool with it. I like Rudy G, Clarkson, and Hassan Whiteside off the bench. I think the Jazz have a really good bench, man.
The only thing with this dude is injuries. Because when was the last time he played like 82? I don't think he ever did.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
So here, right? He played last year, he played 36 games.
Yeah. So you miss half the season.
Is that for real?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, 36. He missed half the season.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't hear about him much.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I don't think they gave him a big deal. I think they gave him like a 1 or 2 year, so it's not like they're
Look at
committed
the
to
crazy
him.
drop off. Do you see this crazy drop off? Like,
Yeah, 15 and 10. But in Sacramento, they kind of had their bigs already, so I don't think they were really trying to give Hassan Whiteside.
yeah, of course. You see the minute difference.
Yeah, they had Rashawn
Basically
Holmes
30
half.
minutes compared to 15. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean,
This is good. If they can play him off the bench 15 minutes, like coming in for Rudy Gobert, and he still posts these numbers, I think that's a solid squad. And the 1.3. Bro,
yeah, but
that
like,
off the bench is nice.
yeah, obviously, like you said, his health, if he could stay healthy.
Yeah, if he plays closer to 70 games and he does that, 15 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, plus like one plus blocks. That's yo, this team is scary. If he plays and he's healthy during the playoffs, because I think they're definitely a playoff team. So that's one of those things where like load manage Hassan Whiteside as much as you can, you know?
Yeah. I mean, one talking point is when the Jazz played the Clippers in the playoffs this season that just happened, they were saying that one of the big reasons why the Jazz lost was because of Rudy Gobert. They were saying that the Clippers were playing small, trying to bring Rudy G out to the three. He was too slow. He couldn't recover, bring him out the paint. Now the paint opens up, penetrators. I understand that. And like I said, Hassan Whiteside he's the poor man's Rudy G, I guess you could say. So now they have kind of similar skill set for their starting center and their backup. But I mean, I still think there's value in dudes who can get boards, protect the paint. They're not like I said with Steven Adams, where I said I don't like dudes who are kind of, can't step out, hit a jumper. They are limited in their offense, but I mean, Utah has a lot of offense, man. Conley, Mitchell, Clarkson, Rudy G, Ingles. They have a lot of guys who can score. So I don't think they're really relying on Rudy Gobert and Hassan Whiteside to be 20-point scorers. Just kind of just come in here, be a defensive anchor. And yeah, so I like it, man. The verdict for me, really like the Utah Jazz moves. I don't think they really lost much of value. I think they definitely got better. And I think their bench is going to be one of the best in the NBA. At least it looks that way on paper. So they get a good grade from me on their offseason. What do you think?
Do you know what they got in that trade for Derrick Favors?
Mm, no, I don't. They traded him. I want to say they probably gave OKC a first rounder to take his contract because that's just what OKC does.
Yeah.
Put
They
put
get you. They get you somehow.
no put Derek Favors trade
Yeah.
Thunder.
Trade. My bad.
Yeah, trade OKC. Yeah, look at that, bro. I
So
nailed it.
the Jazz got a second round pick.
Yeah, and OKC got a first and Derek Favors. It was that reeks of a salary dump. Favors probably had a Favors probably had an unfavorable contract, and yeah, they had to unload it, so they threw in the first.
Yeah. So at least they got a second rounder back. So maybe you never know. As long as you have a pick, that's my
Yeah,
idea, right? As long as you have a pick, you can make something out of it. We all knew Manu Ginobili, the legend of Manu Ginobili, where he got picked in the second round. He's one of the greatest Spurs ever, blah, blah, blah. So it could happen. It's not impossible. But if you don't have a pick, that's bad because you don't even have the chance of picking someone up. So I like this. They get rid of Derek Favors. He was a bum. He's a sad story for me personally because he was on the Nets and he was supposed to be this great thing. He never became what we expected. Um, yeah,
He had
this
a
is it, man.
he had a couple solid years, but definitely I feel like he's past his prime.
He was
And
third overall, wasn't he?
yeah, past John Wall, Evan Turner, Derrick Favors.
That's crazy, dude.
Yep. So
But
we both agree we like these moves for Utah.
yeah, man, the thing is, this squad is definitely, they were already the number one overall seed. And I think they got better, like you said. The main thing is something like what you said with the Clippers, right? Rudy Gobert shouldn't be coming out of the paint. They were getting destroyed on these offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. It was like Rudy Gobert couldn't get a rebound. And then they kept getting second chance points, and then the Clippers just freaking lit them up on the 3 point line. It was
The
crazy.
the Terrence Mann game, which is
Yeah, it was
crazy.
wild. And then you see them go against the Suns, and the Suns beat them. And of course, there's all things we could get into with that. But basically, with the Jazz, I think it came down to coaching because the Jazz whooped the Clippers' ass those first two games. They were up in the series, and then they failed to close it out. So I think it was one, you got to play zone defense at some point. Like, don't let Rudy Gobert follow somebody out to the 3 point line. And then this with Hassan Whiteside, if they play zone, those two guys, if they have them both on the court as a 4 and a 5, that's serious rebounding. So they're not going to get out rebounded. So that's where I really like this trade because if they go zone, they have three guys just defending the threes and two guys just getting every rebound possible. They're going to be a really hard team to beat. And with the addition of like guys like Rudy Gay, Eric Paschall, whatever, and whatever this guy Jared Butler turns into, they could have a ton of scoring as well. Because obviously Donovan Mitchell is insane. He could get any shot he wants. He's really good. Um, Bogdanovich went crazy that one game, like 6 for 6 from threes to start the game. That was a crazy game. I was watching that game. So the Jazz could definitely light it up. Their problem was defense. And it's crazy because Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year. I don't know if it was this year, but he's been defensive player of the year. Oh, I think he was. I think there was a game where he literally ended the game with a block. And everyone was like, yo, this is why he got defensive player of the year this year. Because he could win you a game. So I think I don't want to like rip on the coach, but I think that's a coaching decision that was just poor. They could have made it further in the playoffs, but we all know the freaking Clippers got hot. That was it. But I think they did get better with these acquisitions. Getting rid of Derrick Favors. Every time he came into the game, I was like, every time I was watching the Jazz and Derrick Favors came in, I was like, yo, can they weather these moments with Favors and just make it out of it without losing the lead or without getting like the score ran up on them or anything like that. And every time he would come in, it was a disappointment. Like they couldn't do anything. So I think getting rid of him is a big deal. And they do look better this year.
Yeah, and real quick, how we were saying when we were talking about Precious Achua with the Miami Toronto trade, kind of like in the same realm where I was like, oh, I don't like it for Toronto because all they got was Achua. They gave up Lowry. Paschall kind of is in that same situation because he's young, just like Achua, right? But do you know what the Utah Jazz gave up for Eric Paschall? What they gave Golden State?
No.
I have it right here. A protected 2026 second round draft pick from Memphis. That's it.
Oh damn.
That's literally all they gave up for him. They didn't give up a young rotation player or anything, or they literally gave up a second round, a protected 2026 second round pick, a pick in 5 years from now, protected, and they got
Damn,
another
the
rotation player.
Warriors are the Warriors are thinking like 5 years from now. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned Paschall or Paschal in there because he's still a rotation guy, and they basically gave up nothing for him. They gave up a second round pick protected in 5 years from now. So Utah Jazz have like kind of always been this like sneaky smart team. Like they've just always been good. Like Utah's always good. They're good. Then they drop off for like 2 years and then they're back again. They don't really have these 5, 6 year stretches where they're, out of the playoffs, missing the postseason. So I've always really liked that about them. And yeah, they're never like good enough to win the whole thing, but I do like that they're at least competitive in a small market and they're just not tanking and saying stuff like trust the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. No, this was a good one, man. I like that you picked this one out of the bunch to talk about. These are like these are the moves that you're like, yo, this is a guy making the guy running it is just making these small but impactful moves that could be that difference. I think because they're obviously good, right? They were first overall. They've made the playoffs for like 3, 4 years now. Like it's not like they're a bad team, but they just need that little bump to get them to the finals at least. You know?
Yeah, like when Golden State was on the come up every year. I say Golden State because they're like I always use them because they're the last team that really was dominant. When you would look at Golden State, it was every year like they got competitive uh went after like the 2012 draft. Every year they would make one more move. It was like 2012-13 they lost against I think it was San Antonio. That offseason they go and they get Iguodala. Then next season they lose against the Clippers. What do they do that offseason? They get Barbosa, Sean Livingston. So they just slowly every single offseason, one move, one more brick, one more brick, one more brick. And in the end, they got the ring, and then they obviously went a whole nother level crazy when they got KD. But even after that, right, they get KD. What do they do after that? Like the next year, they get Boogie Cuz. Like every just offseason, they're trying to get better. And I like that, man. With Utah, some minor trades, but they got better. And I don't even want to say minor, man. Like I really like every single one of these, every single one. Utah, man, great management. Whoever's running shit over there, good fucking job, man. So we're
Yeah,
done with.
this guy's a guard, the rookie. He's a 6'3" guard. That's good, man. That's like hopefully
He
he could.
Yeah, he probably won't get any playtime though. I think Clarkson will be the backup point. Like this dude's just gotta like play the back, wait his turn. But yeah, for whatever that's worth, they
Oh,
got
but that's
him.
smart because they could have him under Conley, like if he's a point guard. I don't know, but if they have him with Conley, that's nice. You can have a guy, yeah, Jared Butler. Yeah, you could have him become one of those guys that slowly gets trained, comes into the position, and makes an impact in 2 or 3 years.